Mr. Stark, you've been voted as the nicest billionaire in the world. Any comments on that?
Well, of course, it's an honor to be named the nicest billionaire in the world. But the most important thing is to treat everyone with respect. And Mr. Stark, I swear if you interrupt my speech one more time, I will nuke you so bad you're going to feel it in your next life, you loudmouth swine. Don't you ever, I repeat, ever interrupt the great Tony Stark from his speech. Ever. Now, what was I talking about? Oh yes, treat everyone with respect. Hello and welcome back to the KenOhwee Channel. Yes, I'm back. And it feels really good to be back after a while. And before we begin, a word from this channel's sponsor. Hey you, wondering where to get all these cool action figures? Then check out HLJ.com for all types of toys and action figures from Japan, including today's featured action figure. Hurry while stocks last. Link in the description below. Click it. Thank you again HLJ for sponsoring today's episode, and thank you guys for clicking the link below. Not only are you helping yourself find the toy that you want, but you're also helping the channel. Anyway, back to today's episode, which we'll be talking about the amazing Yamaguchi Iron Man. Wow, this figure was out for a while. Hope people are still interested to know about him, and I really wanted to get him as well, but too many figures, too little funds. But I'm glad I finally got my hands on this guy. So without further ado, let's take a closer look. This time his backdrop artwork is simply his armory, and I kinda prefer this over the multiple artwork, to be honest. Give me more backdrops, I say. His face sculpt looks pretty good to me. The curves and grooves of his face makes him look a little too angry at times. All the details on his body sculpt is sculpted, all of them lines and grooves once again. And all the arc reactor painted sky blue just pops out from all that red and gold. The first thing that stood out like a sore thumb to me was the neck bulge, and I was initially really concerned that this was a permanent look of the figure, but to my relief, this neck piece can be tucked into the armor, so it doesn't look that bad after that, but it can be a chore. However, the proportion of the figure is a little off to me in the upper body. His chest and arm seems to sag way below, but then again, it could be just me, but it could also be due to the neck that's causing this optical illusion. Either way, in terms of overall presentation, for the most part this Iron Man figure looks the part. However, the design is a lot more bulky than I'd imagined. And when I hear bleeding edge, I think of that streamlined design, but probably due to this figure's proportion, I'm still getting that bulky vibe from it, at least for me. However, that's not saying this figure doesn't look cool. On the contrary, it looks great. The paint has a metallic finish to it, so it shines under the light. The design looks really nice. However, there are a few holes at the back of the figure for his accessories, which I don't mind personally, but it could be a bother to some people. But the biggest improvement of this figure, and I'm not sure whether it's just my figure or it's just a change in design, but their arm joints are now easier to rotate. In previous Yamaguchi figures, these joints were not only tight, but every time you tried rotating the arms, the joints looked like it's about to snap off, which just raises a lot of concerns, but it's not in this Iron Man figure. And if this is something that will be implemented in future Yamaguchi figures, then the quality of these figures just got elevated, for which I'm extremely pleased with. Overall, a few things that prevents this figure from looking like the perfect Iron Man action figure, but for what it brings to the table as of now, it's still pretty good. Head and neck on the ball joint, but most of the head movement is attributed by the neck joint, so left and right and side to side movement, no problem. But of course, you'd have to watch out for that neck bulge. His side chest can move forward so far it covers his arc reactor, which is great, and it can move backwards that far, but it does reveal a bit of a gap. Shoulder armor is on the ball joint, so it can move around, but sadly it's connected to the body, so it does prevent the arms from going a full 360, but it can at least move forward to about that much and back to about that much, which is still pretty much 90% of the rotation, which is more than sufficient for your posing needs. His pec systems allows his arms to extend outwards from his body as well. Arm swivel to replace the bicep swivel, bicep flex, forearm rotation, wrist twist, and move up and down. He has a mid and lower ab cut, so altogether he can do the twisting in the middle, but a lot more twist at the bottom. Side to side pivot isn't an issue, but the highlight of his ab feature, making an Iron Man figure crunch forward that far. Just look at that. An Iron Man figure doing a crunch and not revealing that much of a gap. Let that sink in for a bit.
A few moments later.
And he can arch backwards that far as well, and does have a bit of a gap but not that much. He can do the split about that far, kick upwards that far, kick backwards. His thigh swivels outwards and inwards, which now shall be known as the typical Yamaguchi thigh swivels. Knee bend, calf on another ball joint so he can move around and also twist, feet move up and down, pivot side to side, twist left and right, and of course, the iron toe curlers. Moving on to his armory, and my god, does he come with a lot! For his hands, he comes equipped with face punching hands, another pair of face punching hands but with a hole in the middle, karate chop hands, and of course, jazz hands with a hole as well. For weapons, he comes with a pair of wrist guards with the energy blade unleashed, and to equip these, simply remove the existing wrist guards and replace accordingly. And energy blades, as always, is a welcome accessory. And speaking of accessory parts, we have this type of wing. We'll call this wing set A. He comes with 4 of those. Wing set B, which is slightly smaller than set A, he comes with 8 of those. 4 of these square platforms with holes everywhere. A pair of these bladed wing. And for blast effects, he comes with 6 of these translucent blue blast effect, and 6 effects with missiles shooting out with all these wild trajectories going on. And all of these accessories, apart from their weapon accessory, like the Revoltech Carnage, as long as there's a peg and a hole, you can join them together. And the rest is up to your imagination. You can go wild with this figure, do whatever you want. Although it is a little bit of a struggle to pack something so small in, but the results are pretty satisfying. So I'm not going to go through what you could do because the sky is the limit. And if you are struggling with removing the pegs out, they did provide you with this plastic thing to ease the process, but I doubt it'll stand the test of time. Speaking of concerns over breaking joints, Revoltech provided you with additional pegs. However, it's only the small pegs instead of the arm joints, like they used to provide in previous packages, which is a shame, but that just shows how confident they are now with their improved joint design. All in all, like the Carnage figure, this Iron Man figure is just so much fun to play around with. And here is the amazing Yamaguchi Iron Man standing next to other figures for scale comparison. So, in summary, I really regretted skipping this figure in the first place, and I'm just glad I get to review this figure, because to me, this figure is awesome. I was extremely concerned with how the Revoltech joint and proportion would affect the look and playability of this figure, but this package went above and beyond and my worries were for naught. However, the look may bother some people, especially that steroid-induced neck bulge, and the streamlined design of the bleeding edge armor isn't present in this action figure. But if you're looking for an extremely posable Iron Man figure with plenty of accessories to work around with, then this is the package for you. Amazing Yamaguchi has done it once again. However, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and I would love to hear yours. Do you think this is the best Iron Man action figure of all time, or is there one better than this? Share it with me in the comment section down below. And with that all said, that concludes today's episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and a huge thank you to HLJ once again for sponsoring today's video. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Click here for video 1. Click here for video 2. Click here to subscribe. Click it. Thank you for watching. Arigato. Thank you.